Good evening. Gosh, I love a sold-out crowd here at the Arlington Theater. How you guys excited to see Angelina Jolie? Gang, before we start, I need to say a few words about our sister city, Los Angeles, who has undergone a horrible tragedy. And the film festival is dedicated to our sister city, the City of Angels. All our thoughts and prayers are with our fellow Angelinos. And during the film festival, we are partnering with Direct Relief International to raise support to the LA communities. And they will be matching our donations up to $100,000 to double our impact. Direct Relief, if you guys notice, when you walked in the door in the lobby, there is volunteers from Direct Relief International, and just be generous and let's help out our friends, our brothers and sisters in Los Angeles. A very special thank you to Lexus. I pulled up in a Lexus out there. The new presenting sponsor of SBIFF. You will see Lexus vehicles during the festival. Pretty snazzy in front of the Film Center where you can sign up for a test drive. And speaking of the Film Center, you guys know I cannot get tired of repeating this. We have a brand new home in the heart of downtown. We have 5 screens. That is the film festivals. After the festival, after a few weeks after the festival, we're going to shut it down, gut it, and remodel it, and it's going to be snazzy. Thank you to the generous support of the wondrous Nora McNeely Hurley, Michael Hurley. Where are they? Love you guys. Oh, I see Michael there, and the Manitou Fund. And the board of directors, Lee Phillips is on the front row there. Thank you to the board of directors of the film festival. This is our 40th, gang. And Lee Phillips hired me. So, if you guys don't like that, go give him hell. He's on the second row. Thank you, Lee. Gang, Angelina Jolie. This woman does it all. She's an incredible performer. She's an incredible director. And did you guys know that last June, she won a Tony Award for producing a Best Musical on Broadway? The Outsiders, go check it out. It's amazing. You're in for a wondrous, amazing evening. And what better host than Leonard Maltin? The award is named after him, Maltin Mother Master. Please give the warmest welcome to Leonard Maltin, film critic, historian, the man, the myth, the legend, Leonard Maltin.
Thank you, Roger. Oh, it's an SC person here. Okay, fight on. Hello, Santa Barbara. Are you here because you're a fan of Angelina Jolie? I am too. And I've never had a chance to really interview her. We've met briefly on several occasions, but I've never had a chance to really talk about her films, about her career, about her life. That's what we're going to do tonight. If I can get rid of that frog in my throat. There it goes. It's waiting for me over there. That's fine. Thank you. This is a woman of such incredible achievement. And to look at all she's accomplished while raising a family, 6 children. There's nothing more leveling in life than children. And she has done that and continues to do that. And then to take on a role like Maria Callas, where you not only did she have to learn to sing on a professional level, but to sing opera. She did that. And if you haven't seen that performance, you're really missing something unforgettable. It's just one more jewel in her crown. And let's take a look at a montage of memorable moments with Angelina Jolie right now. Ladies and gentlemen, Angelina Jolie.
Thank you. Thanks for being here, everyone.
Hello.
Hello.
I saw you at Telluride when you were there accompanying your film. Was that your first trip to that festival? I think it
No,
was.
maybe, yeah. No, I think I was there years ago with, First They Killed My Father. Yes.
Where is home for you?
In my heart, Cambodia. But,
And you're also a citizen here.
and I am a citizen, yeah. But
What was your first exposure to Cambodia?
my first was Tomb Raider. She saw me hanging upside down. That was my first, yeah. And I didn't, and I think that something tells you something about life, is that I think back so much on my life and the amount of things I almost didn't do, almost missed, that would have changed the course of my life. I said no to Tomb Raider when I was first called.
What changed your mind?
They said you can travel the world and train with the British military. And I said, I will wear the shorts for the first 5 minutes and then I will never wear them again. And that's true. And that's the movie. That's actually what happened.
You've been through so many things in your life. Your young life was pretty tumultuous. And now you've raised children through that portion of their lives, most of them. Well, how do you steer them away from the pitfalls and the problems?
I mean, I mean, you realize as a parent, it isn't an 18 thing, it isn't a thing, it's life, right? And all through life. And I'm still changing and learning and growing and waking up at almost 50 and realizing, oh man, I was wrong about that, or I have to get better at that, or I do, and it sounds very silly or cliche, but I do think I got through a lot because I had something to live for. I was really quite dark in my youth. I don't know where I'm going with this. We're in front of 2,000 people. Having therapy with Leonard. Let's do it. I was really dark, and I'm sure I think actually a lot of people who probably respond to some of my work is because they identify with some of the struggle and some of the mind on fire, or the pain in the heart, or the madness where you're not sure, you can't settle, and you're a good person, but you aren't as maybe centered or stable. You don't. There's something else happening that you need an outlet for, and if you don't have that, and you can go very, very dark. And I went through many different times in my life. I went very, very dark and almost lost my life. And one of the darkest was when I became famous, the darkest. And then, in part because my mom had cancer. So I was going to keep working and not give her more to worry about. I kept going. And then I traveled, and then I met a lot of people around the world who were suffering so much, I was really quite embarrassed that I'd taken my life for granted. And I felt really, it was a good, like, kind of smack in the face.
Yeah.
Like, you know where your family is, you have enough food to eat, and you're, you know, you got to get your head straight and do what you can with your life. And I don't know, just look at things differently. So I figured I could put that madness to good use and become a mom.
Yeah. Perspective.
Yeah, perspective and outlets. I think we all have this where, and probably the best outlet for me was having somebody to live for, not living for myself.
Yeah.
Was a, you know, I think, and I think from my children, I don't know. There's so much I feel I never am doing enough or right, but I hope I'm giving them space to figure out who they actually are and something that they want to live for that's authentic to them. So it holds in their life.
Do any of them have a particular affinity for movies?
No. Don't know if that's my doing. I always wanted them to be around film because I wanted them to know as a part of. It's such a wonderful family to be creative, to be an artist, to be, you know. They're not interested. They really don't like, if any, the celebrity part of it. Especially Shiloh hates it. I think in a very healthy way they don't, because it's not a normal thing. It's a silly thing, really, and it's not a, you know. But the work and the connecting and the art is a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
And so for that, they've been on set with me, and some of them dance, some of them paint, some of them love theater, but none of them are dying to be on screen.
Two of them worked on Maria, right? Mm-hmm. Doing what?
They were ADs and photography.
Good.
Pax does. They both did AD work, which is, it's good to start in the work. You got to run around and do anything for everybody, and so they were doing that on a few films. And then Pax was doing some of the photography work.
We're going to take a look. We're going to take a stroll through your career
Okay.
tonight.
I was saying to somebody, it's really funny because I think you're starting with Hackers, right?
Yeah.
Are you? It's Johnny. I just talked to Johnny. I love that. Now you get to see my ex-husband with 2,000 people.
We're going to look at Hackers, and then we're going to look at Gia.
Okay.
Let's watch these first two films.
Thank you.
Hackers is 30 years old.
Amazing.
How is that possible?
Amazing. Oh, it's so nice to see it, actually. It's funny, you get to a certain point. I don't really watch my own films, and so I don't think I've seen it since the premiere. But I do have a wonderful relationship with Johnny, and we now have sons the same age, and I'm so happy to have done that. So I did end up on that date, it seems.
Gia was an HBO movie, right?
Yes.
But that's the first time I remember being aware of you because you got so much attention for that. How did that start to change your view of a career?
I didn't start acting because I really, really wanted to be an actor. I started because I wanted to help my mom. So I needed to work to help my mom. And so it was like, we got a job, we could, you know, I could get an apartment one day, or we're gonna not be in debt, or whatever it would be, you know. So it was just about like work and security and creativity. You know, I got to meet nice people. I'm playing this great character, and we would sit up and talk about it. And she was a real theater student, and that was the great part. And the experience of it, of feeling those feelings and sharing it with other people and not feeling so alone, because we connect. And so I didn't feel so alone. But having success and being recognized and being put on one side of a line to another person or signing autographs or something really made me very uncomfortable. I went very dark at that time.
Did you relate to Gia, you think, on some level other than the obvious, pitfalls of fame and, success and celebrity?
Sure, I'm sure. Probably relate to characters more than you're conscious of. But I think I'm I'm close to almost everybody I've played. I always think about it as like removing a part of myself. Like if I had no children, I'd be more like Maria. You know, if I had no, it's less pretending and it's more just that one piece.
Right.
And certainly Gia, I think, was a woman who, it was also the time of the AIDS crisis, and very few people knew what that was. And so she was with dying alone, people with hazmat outfits, and being very cold to her. And it was very, very difficult time. But I think that my answer to her was that she was just somebody, as you see in that clip, that wanted love. She didn't want fame. That's not what her life was about, being pretty on a magazine. She really wanted love
Yeah.
and to be loved for who she really was, like everybody, you know.
We're going to watch the film that earned you your first Academy Award.
What are we watching?
We're watching Girl
Like
Interrupted.
anything could come up now.
Watching Girl Interrupted, but first we're going to watch
Okay.
a film I like a lot, The Bone Collector,
Okay, all right.
with you and Denzel Washington. Let's run these next two. That was directed by James Mangold, who just made a wonderful film about Bob Dylan called The Complete Unknown, and co-wrote and directed it. And what do you want from a director when you're, I don't mean in preparation for shooting and all that, but when you're actually on camera, when you're shooting the movie, what does a director give you that you need?
I suppose it depends. I suppose it depends on the piece. But a lot of it for me is how the director is on set and the world he's built. And so how they are with everyone. So if everyone feels, it's not just about, of course, respect and a good set, but it's also that it kind of everybody's bringing their best, and every head of departments, whether it's the sets or the action or the hair, the thing, you get all that team of people, and the director is that person at the head that's like running a family, that really is very good at bringing good people together and listening to them and working together. Then I feel very relaxed to do my part and just enjoy and stretch out in my, and the more challenging directors, you find that you're ended up having to worry about a lot of other parts, and you're not as free, and the family's not as strong, that's what I think.
Did you have it in your mind at this earliest stage to be a director, or did that come later?
That came much later, I think. I don't know what year it is. I never thought, I mean, in a way, it's just not a sad thing, but I was told when I was young, you could act, you could model, you could do, nobody ever said to me, you could be a lawyer, you could be a writer, you could be right? So I kind of, for as much as it's nice that I was supported to do this, I was never really supported to do anything else. So it took me a very long time to try to write and discover I could. And then because I'd written something, I ended up directing it. But I never had the nerve to think of myself as a director. So it took me a while.
How was the experience of being nominated for and then winning an Academy Award?
I'm trying to think of how much I'm going to share right now. I, when I was little, my parents divorced. My mom was home with 2 little kids. My mom's dream was to be an actor. I believe my mother's dream was to be an actress, probably why she took her to the theater in Chicago all the time. And my mother used to tell me a story that when she was in her 20s, because she had me, she was very young, she was divorced to a very famous man and she was home with her babies in an apartment watching him win an Oscar with the other woman. Mm-hmm. And it was kind of just a part of our family history.
Yeah.
And I remembered thinking that she was there for me and my brother, and that was the choice she made, and how she must have felt on that night always really stuck with me. Mm. So to have that moment to get off that stage and call her and say, "It's yours," and I gave it to her, was like one of the best moments for me in my life. So
That's the best story I've ever heard about winning an Oscar, I think. And it's a great performance. It deserves that.
thank you.
You just told me just a few minutes ago that you turned down Lara Croft Tomb Raider. Are you glad you did it?
I'm very glad I did it. Yes, I'm very glad I did it. I may never have gone to Cambodia. I may never have met my son. I may never have started. I mean, this would be the film that would change. I would learn so much about I admittedly came smoking 2 packs a day and completely had to change my health and my life, and discovered that I could do things I didn't know I could do. And I met a lot of lifelong friends that, yeah, it would change everything. That film that at first, because I'd seen the video game and I was, at that time, I was almost offended.
But you said yes.
But I said yes because I wanted to travel the world, and I did get to train with the British military, and I did have a big adventure, and yeah, I loved it in the end.
And it made you sort of a bankable star.
And then it did that, yeah.
Let's revisit Lara Croft right now, and then a scene from
Guy right there.
then a scene from The Good Shepherd.
It's a great mix.
Tell me about being directed by Robert De Niro.
It was wonderful. He's again, God, it's so hard to figure out what to say or share. But he was really, really lovely, really tough. And then I remember I was pregnant. I became pregnant. He didn't know. It was tough and tough. And then I because we had reshoots and my prosthetics were kind of falling off, and I got a bit sick in a scene where everybody was smoking. And then I had to say to my very tough, cool director who's just focused on what he wants, I said, "I'm so sorry, but I'm pregnant." And then I saw a very different Bob De Niro, who went from being this very tough, strong director to being a man who's saying, "Get her a banana and help her." And he was the sweetest. So I remember that. But he's obviously, a little intimidating, but for all the right reasons when you're an actor. And it's fun to explore character with him, and to ask him questions and to, see what he's thinking. I enjoyed it.
I wish he'd direct more.
Me too.
Speaking of interesting directors, you worked for Clint Eastwood on The Changeling, a really good movie, another really good movie. We're going to watch that. We're going to watch another action film, Salt,
I like you put these weird pairs together, like the one that's the victim and the one that's the like.
There's a lot to
Like,
choose from,
I don't want to stick
Angelina.
them in a room together and see what happens. Okay, let's see these two.
No. There's a third.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And it's a logical choice after those two. Maleficent.
Oh, perfect. Okay. Let's see these three.
Tell me about working with Rick Baker, the makeup wizard of all time, on Maleficent.
Well, he's wonderful, and I was with Tony G, who's my dear friend and godmother, PM godmother to my daughter Vivian, who's the makeup artist I worked with, and she learned from Rick and works with Rick, so she brought me over to his place, and we tried a lot of different looks. I wish we had documentation of it because it's pretty funny, all the things she could have been. And then we settled on this, which was actually the simplest version of what we were working on to try to find something that was not so distracting that she could really have emotional scenes, but also still have that look of the creature.
Did you settle on that before you signed on to the movie, or did you just assume that you would come to a creative alliance on that?
Well, I had a very good, they hadn't done the villains at that time, and so I had a very good relationship with Disney, we were all kind of really doing it together. Mm-hmm. So I didn't feel like stuck in a box where they were going to push her on me. We were really, it was a beautiful script, and no, I felt like we were going to try to. We were all really insane. It was fun. It was a fun process, mm-hmm. But we were trying to figure out. Okay, so she has horns like a goat, but then she has wings like a bird. Does she have hair or does she have feathers? Does she have feet or does she have hooves? Is she a... We had tried goat contacts. I actually loved those, but nobody would buy it. But, they've got these rectangular pupils. So it was an interesting... what is this creature? How green are we going to make her? Are we going to make her green? What's the thing? And a lot of it was, how do you make somebody look like this, but then not be staring at it when you have scenes like that?
Yeah.
Right? And that it's, and so that was the magic of being at Rick's place and being with Tony and Arian, who made the pieces, where we all just took the time and played and created, and it was nice.
Clint Eastwood.
Clint Eastwood, who really does only do one take most of the time.
Yeah.
That is true. It's a rumor about him, but it's actually true.
Yeah. And he doesn't say action, and he doesn't say cut.
Yeah, I don't think... What he does say something, though. What is he says? Sometimes he says something. Is it like, okay? I don't know what he says, but it is true. He's very... what he does do that a lot of people maybe don't know is he writes the music. He wrote the theme in The Changeling early, mm-hmm. And his musical compositions are so beautiful and so soulful. And when you hear them, and when that's your director, and you understand that part of his directing is this music and this piece and you understand him a little differently, and you. So that was really impressive to me, but also that he was very like, you do your job, like you're expected to know your job.
Yeah.
Right? You're not expected to come on set and still be learning your lines and have a lot of questions. He expects you to be, you're here, I'm here doing my job, you do your job.
Yeah.
Which kind of is this great exciting thing, because you realize he gives you that freedom, but he also says, we're not going to do this forever. So like, bring it.
Yeah.
And the great thing is, you can bring it. You can bring everything you got, because he's not going to ask you to do it 17 times for no reason. Right. Mm-hmm. So it's challenging, but it's also quite freeing, because you really do it keeps you on your toes.
Mm-hmm. We're now going to see a clip from Unbroken. So that brings us to directing again. And this is not the first one you directed, but a great story about Louis Zamperini and a great piece of casting, Jack O'Connell. And but directing is so different from acting or being a star, and with the responsibilities and the burdens that come with being a movie star. But directing, you have to answer 10,000 questions a day and decide all sorts of things that you needn't think about when you're acting in a movie. What was the experience like, first time and this time?
Oh, it's the best. I love directing. I prefer directing. I don't. I think again, it's like you know, if you have the right family, you trust your heads of department, you love your actors, you love your work, and you're all there together. Your job is to kind of make this space and bring the best in everybody, and come with a strong plan and take responsibility. But I really loved it because I love seeing the best in other people, and I actually like being behind the camera. So that's amazing.
What was it like when you first had to audition actors, having been on the other side of that?
Yeah, you know what? I'm pretty bad at it. I'm bad at it because I'm. I'm good at seeing. I think I'm good at seeing what's authentic, but I really want to give everybody a job. So I have to be very careful. You know, just who ends up in some. I really want to try to narrow it down as much as possible, not waste anybody's time. Ask them. You know, I really just don't like the game of the audition. I like or make people wait. All of that makes me, you know, brings memories back for me. So but I love the process, and I love young actors. You know, it's. I feel very obviously very close to them, and I think I'm good at. I hope I'm good at knowing a bit how to make the space that they need to be able to feel able to do their work.
You did something that I think is so fantastic. Having been the subject or object, depending on how you look at it, of paparazzi and celebrity mania and all of that, you sold the rights to your baby's first photos for millions of dollars that went to a variety of worthy causes, and sort of turned the tables on all of that kind of media flash. And yes,
It's a strange thing to have to do or to do, but it was the
talk about means to an
better
end.
option. But also, it was for their safety. It was that somebody were coming for it,
Yeah.
and it was a safety concern as well. So it was just better to control it in a safe place, in a safe way.
Yes. But,
And yeah, and do something good with it, which is obviously, you know, if you can, that's much better.
tell me about your first conversation with Pablo Larraín about playing Maria Callas.
My first conversation with him was many years prior, where I just told him I loved his work and always wanted to work with him. And then years later, he called me and asked me about Maria and talked to me about this thought. He didn't have a script. He just told me about his childhood and his relationship to Maria Callas and music and opera and who she was, and asked me to look her up if I didn't know enough and think about it. And so I asked him to have a few days to think about it, because it seemed like the difficult one to do. It seemed like something that I needed to be sure I was able to do and write for. And so I took a few days and I listened to a lot of her music, which I realized I had been listening to over my life. I didn't know it was her. And I listened to a lot of her interviews, which I wish you had, because they would be wonderful to watch, because her interviews are amazing. If you haven't seen them, watch her young ones and then like her, it's just the way she handles herself and the way she speaks is great. But what I saw was a person who was really holding herself under a lot of stress, and a very articulate, thoughtful woman who was a really complex artist. And I especially saw her last interviews and some of the last things that were said about her, and they were so mean. They were just horrible. Her last interview, I think it was Wallace, was just mean to her. And I think when she died, I know she felt quite alone, quite abandoned, quite failure. And so that was part of the reason I felt, she gets one more, I want,
Yeah. Yeah.
I want to relook at those days. I want to honor her life. And I became like artist to artist, very, very, so I just wanted to defend her. So,
Well, I mean, a world-class filmmaker comes to you and says, okay, here's the deal. You get to play one of the most interesting, and notorious, famous, celebrated women of the 20th century. But you have to learn to sing opera. And in tight close-up.
yeah, he didn't say tight close up the first call. Pablo was really good. Pablo was really good at like not, he would say you'd sing. And I didn't really tell him I'd never sung ever. Because you never do as an actor, right? You don't ever say you can't do something.
No, can you ride a horse? Yeah.
Yes. So I said, yeah, sure, I can sing. But you also I didn't realize, and I don't even think he fully realized at the time, that you can't fake sing opera. Because you can see it's like fake screaming. You can't, your body does something very specific. Your mouth, your throat, your whole, it's not something you can kind of do. I did not realize that at first. And that became clear. And then we both found out that the only way to record me was to have nothing else in the room. No piano, no soundtrack, no nothing, no playback. So that I was going to be alone on the stage singing with only my voice in front of an audience. That I'd already taken the job by then, so it was done. But so step by step, and then he said, "Oh, and we're going to start with a giant close-up because we just need to get it over with, for we need to like." And I think was actually smart. He said, "They're waiting to see you do it, so just do it and do it fully and super close right away, and do it." So I did it, but And it's amazing because what an amazing thing, at any time in your life, someone comes to you and says, you have a job, and in your job, you're going to learn a new skill, right? That's such an amazing gift to say, we're going to help you. You're going to meet nice people who are going to help you learn to do something you've never done before. That's the most extraordinary thing about being an actor.
Right. How did you give up 20 packs a day?
2
packs a day.
I don't
Sorry.
What do you
Freudian
think of me?
slip.
I started training really hard. I didn't, I hadn't really done that. And for Tomb Raider, there was a few months of just nothing but multiple training sessions a day and morning, noon, and night. And I didn't want anything but, good food, water, and sleep at a certain point because I was in training, and that's what your body, you change. So, but yeah. And then I had kids, so then I never did it again. Well, I think I did once or twice here and there, but I don't suppose now.
We're into truth-telling now. That's fine.
Yeah.
We're going to watch a scene from Unbroken, directed by you, and then we're going to watch a scene from Maria, in which you give your, your whole self to this character. Let's watch.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Just extraordinary, extraordinary, and it's in context. It's in the context of her life and what has led to this moment in her life. I love the fact you said that you felt like she needed defending at this late date. Looking back, amazing. A friend and admirer, a fellow admirer of yours, is here to present your award tonight.
So nice of her.
And
I love her. I'm a big fan of hers.
Let's welcome Ava DuVernay, ladies and gentlemen.
Good evening. Good evening. I'm so happy to be back at this festival. I have to say, it has become a soft place to land for me throughout my career. I've always come back. Some of the best audiences, really, best audiences around. It's true. So thank you, Roger and the team and all the volunteers. And speaking of a soft place to land, if you've never had a hug from Leonard Maltin, you should try it. Go up to him, see how it feels. They're good ones. And I'm thrilled to be here tonight to celebrate a woman who I deeply respect and admire. The Maltin Modern Master Award is reserved for those who have not only defined excellence in their craft, but have also pushed the boundaries of storytelling, transforming the way we see the world and ourselves within it. Angelina Jolie's career is a testament to the power of cinema that centers risk, reinvention, and reflection. From the fierce and fearless performances that we saw that she first captured, Gia, Girl Interrupted, to the complex and deeply human characters that have defined her career, such as A Mighty Heart and Changeling. She's never settled for the unexpected. She's always searched for the truth beneath the surface, the unspoken emotion, the quiet strength in the midst of struggle. In Maria, a performance that I just love so much. I love this performance. She steps into the shoes of one of the most iconic opera singers in history and breathes new life into Maria Callas. She offers a performance that is both haunting and deeply human. Her preparation for the role, as you heard, was rigorous. I don't know how you did it. I mean, I couldn't have done it. Studying Callas's life, undergoing rigorous vocal and opera training to embody the spirit of the legendary soprano. It's a role that demands both technical precision and immense emotional depth, and Angie delivers both with grace, intensity, and authenticity. But her work does not stop in front of the camera. As a fellow director, she has brought stories to life that challenge us, move us, demand our attention, like Unbroken and one of my favorites, In the Land of Blood and Honey. Her impact reaches beyond the screen. She's a dedicated mother, a loyal friend, and a deeply compassionate human being. We see this in her work as a humanitarian, being a force for the good in the world that so often needs it. You know, I've always looked at her and thought she doesn't have to do any of that. She doesn't have to do all the things that she's doing, but she does it gladly, with an open heart, and a lot of bravery, and I respect that. She's a storyteller in the fullest sense, someone who understands that film and life are not just about performance, but about purpose. Angie, your work has moved us, your artistry has inspired us, and personally, there are moments in life where someone's actions transcend mere gesture. They become a profound affirmation of faith, of friendship, of the quiet power of human connection. I know firsthand your generosity and your kindness is not something that you give, it's something that you are. In a world that often moves too fast, you take the time to uplift, to believe, and to support others. And that is rare. It's extraordinary. And so tonight, I'm honored to present you with the Maltin Modern Master Award. Congratulations.
beautiful. Thank you so much. Thank you. Oh, I'm going to start crying already. It means a lot from you, my dear friend, thank you for your very kind words. Above all, for your friendship and your extraordinary art and storytelling. I'm very grateful to the Santa Barbara International Film Festival, Roger Durling, Ava, Leonard. Thank you. Thank you for that conversation, for that time. It was very special. And most of all, I'm just very thankful to be a part of this community. Many people go through life without a creative outlet. As I think of my mother, she had to give up her dreams of a creative life, but she embraced that side of mine. My mother would write letters to my characters. Dear Gia, dear Lisa Rowe, dear Lara Croft. And for the last 16 years, I haven't had those letters. I try to imagine sometimes now what she would write. And she would probably have told Maria that she loved her because Maria had many things, but she never had a mother's love. And I would be absolutely nothing without mine. She passed away many years ago, this time of year, so it's always this weather that reminds me of her. And that feeling, that sensibility that makes that actually hard for me is part of what is my work and what connects many artists to their work. And I know I'm not alone in this. A writer once said, out of the quarrel with others, we make rhetoric, but out of the quarrel with ourselves, we make poetry. Those of us who are able to question and explore and feel deeply with audiences that feel with us, like I did tonight, share this feeling and are very, very fortunate. It is a real privilege to be an artist. So thank you. Thank you for this. And of course, tonight I'm thinking of many people in our state who are suffering and have lost so much, and those who've given so much, particularly firefighters. Those who put their lives on the line in their work are a breed apart, and we are very, very lucky and very fortunate to live among them. And I think too of the people around the world who have lost that solidarity and support. It's going to be a very devastating time for many people. And I hope we can all agree that we can't seek to improve systems at the cost of our humanity. So, thank you for being here with me tonight. Have a beautiful evening.